Thank God it's Friday. Monday's a brand new start. Wednesday, you're halfway home, and Thursday, the weekend's not far. Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. What can you say about Tuesday? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Tuesday bites. Tuesday sucks. Tuesday blows. Go away. Tuesday's crap. Tuesday's lame. Tuesday's dumb. Go away. Tuesday. Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. But what can you say about Tuesday?
Nothing. Tuesday. What's new? On New Release Tuesday, we'll tell you about that. Gene's back. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
How was your extra day off?
Well, my daughter had her wisdom teeth removed.
And
so.
videos?
No, I didn't. First of all, it's a very, when I had Henry's done, they took me back in right after he came out of surgery, and we had a lot more time on the goop. This place, they recover in another room, and then they wheel them out to you when they're ready. So by the time
So you
she
don't get
came
them
to
right
me,
away.
yeah, she was still funny. And, big gauze in her mouth and could hardly understand her. But it was that crazy, is this real life? That part was over. So,
All right. Well, that's a bummer.
yeah.
But I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah, she's doing good.
All
well,
right.
I mean, she's in a lot of pain and her face is huge, but she's all right.
Gene back after an extra day off to get her daughter's wisdom teeth taken out.
Yeah.
We'll let you know what's new on New Release Tuesday. Grant Bills of the Wisco Sports Show will join us just after 8 a.m. We'll get to bad news, happy music, and our daily check-ins, all sorts of other stuff as well.
Did you lose a bet?
What do you mean?
Well, you shaved your face.
Yeah, I just kind of, it was
too much?
No. I just kind of, every once in a while, a little reset. Hit the reset button, get it nice and short before it gets long again.
Yeah.
So, no, I did not lose a bet.
Okay, all right.
No, none of that. But I do have a much shorter beard. Thanks for noticing.
Well, I don't know how I couldn't.
Yeah. It is
It's like on my haircut that I got yesterday that you noticed.
nice haircut.
Thanks.
Didn't know you had time to squeeze in a haircut.
I got
amongst all the wisdom teeth.
I got my blood work. I did so much
All the stuff.
adulting yesterday,
All right,
man.
That extra day off helps,
yeah,
huh,
well,
on a
you're
Monday?
in between, like, going back and making shakes, and you're like, yeah, I got it all done.
Well, good. I'm glad. Good to hear. Lincoln Park, some Five Finger Death Punch. Again, rockmornings.com to get in touch with us. Listen to the show live on the website. Check out the daily podcast. All that crap right there at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. On a Tuesday, June 17th. A man in Prairie du Chien awaiting a child enticement charge following his arrest earlier this month. Crawford County Sheriff Dale McCulloch said that on June 1st, they began an investigation into an incident in the town of Prairie du Chien. The report said that an adult male lured a 14-year-old juvenile into the back of a white cargo van.
Oh, jeez.
Investigation leading to the arrest of 48-year-old Sean Levick, lifetime registrant for the Wisconsin Sex Offender Registry, convicted in January of 96 in La Crosse County of a charge of second-degree sexual assault of a child. The sheriff stated that Levick lured the youth into the van with the intent of having sex with the juvenile. Instead, the teen was able to get out of the van without being physically or sexually assaulted. As of yesterday, he's in the Crawford County Jail on cash bond. No court date set for that guy. But Denver, a federal jury yesterday found that the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell,
Yeah, what about him?
defamed a former employee for a leading voting equipment company after the 2020 presidential election. The employee is a guy named Eric Coomer, sued after Mike Lindell called him a traitor and accused him of stealing the election. They were all streamed online on Lindell's media platforms. Coomer was the security and product strategy director at the Denver-based Dominion Voting Systems, whose voting machines became the target of the conspiracy theories And the claims that the loss to Joe Biden in 2020 was due to widespread fraud. Dominion won a $787 million settlement in a defamation lawsuit that it filed against Fox News over its airings of false claims against the company. And now the MyPillow guy apparently losing his lawsuit as well. Coomer said during the 2-week Lindell trial that his career and life were destroyed by the statements. His lawyer said Lindell either knew the statements were lies or conveyed them recklessly without knowing if they were true. Lindell's lawyers denying the claims and said his online platform, formerly known as Frank Speech, is not liable for statements made by others. Yeah. Governor Evers yesterday declaring June 16th in the state of Wisconsin Quick Trip Day.
Ha!
To celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Wisconsin-based and founded franchise. Monday, June 16th, yesterday, marking the very first Quick Trip Day of all time. Big proclamation, lots of fancy letters. We're truly honored to have Quick Trip Day officially recognized by Governor Evers.
That's awesome.
Said the CEO and president of Quick Trip. This proclamation is a reflection of the incredible work our coworkers do every day to serve our guests and communities. We're proud to call Wisconsin home, and even prouder to be a part of so many lives across this great state. The very first Quick Trip opening up on June 16th and 65 in Eau Claire. This will, of course, be the 60th anniversary of Quick Trip. But, yeah, headquartered in La Crosse. I think they're building another distribution center in like South Dakota as they start to continue to expand out.
I was going to say they're building everywhere.
Yeah.
Every 5 minutes a new Quick Trip is born, I think.
New distribution center set to open in DeForest sometime later this year. Forbes has nationally recognized Quick Trip as one of the top
Best
100
places to
best
work.
large employers. It employs more than 38,000 workers who serve nearly 12 million guests per week across 900 locations throughout Wisconsin and neighboring states. But yeah, obviously making their own food, making their own ice, baking their own bread, all the stuff. Hot spot, baby. Hot spot. The man suspected of shooting and killing a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband, as well as shooting and wounding a second lawmaker and his wife, stalked his victims like prey and shot them in cold blood, said acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota, Joseph Thompson. His crimes are the stuff of nightmares. We've got a manifesto. We've got other names, including Tammy Baldwin, I believe, was on that list.
And if I'm not mistaken, last night I was listening to some reporting that he had actually gone to, in between the two homes, he had gone to another home of another representative who was on vacation at the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there could have been more people attacked.
Yeah, latex mask and also just, I mean, it's creepy, creepy, creepy. I believe the mom shielding the daughter as well, who was in the home. So just, I mean, everything about this is awful. And last but not least, President Trump urging residents of Tehran to evacuate immediately after telling the country it should have signed a nuclear deal with the U.S. when talks were on the table. President leaving the Group of Seven summit in Canada, where he and other world leaders discussed the now 5-day-old air war between Israel and Iran. French President Emmanuel Macron telling reporters that Trump was returning to D.C. to work on a ceasefire. Trump refuting those claims, saying, wrong. He has no idea why I am now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, find us online at rockmornings.com. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent day in La Crosse with a high of 80 and a few clouds.
I think there's rain expected this afternoon, though, again, isn't there? I think it kind of
I know tomorrow afternoon we're supposed to get some, but yeah. Sports in a couple of minutes.
90's coming, isn't it, this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Also some Five Finger Death Punch. We'll get to that after Lincoln Park.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Five Finger Death Punch with Wash It All Away on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Brewers off last night, but they are in Chicago tonight at 7:05 for the first of three against the Cubbies. Shohei Ohtani back on the bump for the first time in quite a while. Allowed an early run in his pitching debut for the Dodgers, but quickly made up for it with 2 clutch hits and a pair of RBIs and a 6-3 win over the Padres last night. The two-way superstar averaged about 96.8 on the gun, threw 28 pitches in the first inning. 21 months after right elbow surgery, his first outing since August of 2023 with the Angels.
Oof, okay.
So, yeah, Shohei the most popular baseball player in the world. Back on the bump for the first time in quite some time.
Last August?
Yeah. NBA last night, Game 5 of the finals.
Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers, a strong comeback, but the Thunder have the answer. It's 3-2. OKC in front here in the NBA Finals.
Thunder over the Pacers, 120-109. As you heard there, they take a 3-2 series lead. Game 6 will be Thursday night, 7:30 on ABC with Oklahoma City at Indiana. Game 6 of the NHL Stanley Cup Final is tonight, 7 o'clock on TNT. The Edmonton Oilers at the Florida Panthers. The cup is in the house. The guy with the gloves. There's a chance to win the series. Florida at home on their own ice. With a 3-2 series lead, the cup is in the house, baby. Whew. Special gloves. Arkansas's Gage Wood pitched just the third no-hitter in men's college World Series history and the first in 65 years yesterday, striking out a record 19 batters.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, what a day.
And never letting Murray State even come close to getting a hit in the Razorbacks' 3-0 win. Yeah, have yourself a day. Go order 2 scoops of ice cream after that game. Only winners get coffee, right?
Yeah.
That guy got coffee. The U.S. hockey team, the national hockey team, as we get ready for the 2026 Olympics, naming 6 players to the roster: Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, Quinn Hughes, and Charlie McAvoy. Those are the first 6 players on the 2026 Olympics roster. No goaltenders yet. We'll see who they pick. But getting ready to do battle with the rest of the world in 2026 at the Winter Olympics. Elsewhere in the world of hockey, Kings forward Anze Kopitar is the winner of the Lady Byng Trophy, given out to the NHL player who displays the most gentlemanly conduct.
Wow, that is something.
Well, some guys are, a rat, like a Brad Marchand kind of guy, get in your face and lick you and do all sorts of weird stuff. Some guys will, pull your gloves off or, slew foot you.
One of the thugs or whatever.
Well, those are, goon. They're not necessarily goons, but guys who, kind of rats. They play with a different style. This guy, though, kind of a stand-up, heads up.
So, gentleman, whoever's the most gentleman.
The cool part, and you'll like this if you watch the video, Kopitar learned that he won the award on a family vacation in Slovenia while he was playing around a golf with his father. After 9 holes, his daughter and his son let him know he was the recipient of his third Lady Byng. So he's out on the course
so he's always like
with
that.
His dad for Father's Day, and his daughter and his son come out and let him know that he won the
he's
award.
Overall a good guy is the deal.
Yeah, they said, you won the award for the nicest NHL player, said his daughter Niza, I think is how you pronounce that. 81 regular season games for Kopitar this year in the 2024-25 season. He just got 2 minor penalties totaling 4 minutes. So that guy went to the box for only 2 times, 4 minutes total. Kopitar, 37 years old, won the Lady Byng in 2015, 2016, and the 2022-23 seasons as well. The 10th player to win the award at least 3 times. So, known for being gentlemanly. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Grant Bill's going to join us just after 8 a.m. We'll let you know what's new on New Release Tuesday in just a bit. Also get to some Poppy.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rockfest music from Poppy, The Cost of Giving Up. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene.
Your wife's excited about that show, isn't she? Poppy at Rockfest? Yeah.
Yeah. Rockfest.
Woo!
A month from now. Where'd the time go? Christ almighty. Get online, rock-fest.com. Check out the lineup. Get your tickets. If there's
tickets to be had, there is.
A whiff of a campsite, you might be able to snatch one up. I don't know. They may be sold out at this point. They were going fast. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight at 7 o'clock on TNT. Panthers hosting the Oilers. Panthers up 3-2 going into tonight's game. So, yeah, the cup's in the house.
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Also on TV over on NBC, America's Got Talent. That's at 7 o'clock. New episode of the 1% Club on Fox at 7 o'clock, followed by a new episode of The Snake on Fox. Also a new stand-up special today on Netflix called Justin Willman, Magic Lover.
I love being a dad. I like to think it's the most important job I'll ever have. And I can say that because I am a magician. I put something in this box earlier tonight. It'll be important in a second. what's in the box. It's not Spencer's head, okay? Anyone else like me uses their phone more than they want? I have recently come up with a solution to the screen time problem. Did I not mention the hammer? I apologize. When I was 12, I spent one summer memorizing every zip code in America. 45251 is Cincinnati, Ohio. Fairbanks, Alaska? Right it is. Let's go to the lobby. Here we go. What's your zip code?
Zip code 50701.
Thank you. 50701 is Waterloo, Iowa.
It is.
It is. What's up? I don't want to say I was unpopular.
Justin Willman, Magic Lover, new stand-up comedy and magic special on Netflix today. Does some magic tricks, brings some
Interesting
people up on the stage. Knows zip codes really well. Jimmy Fallon is new with Uma Thurman as his guest tonight. Kimmel is new. He's got The Offspring playing on his show. Stephen Colbert is new with Nate Bargatze and Carrie Condon. Seth Meyers new with Christine Baranski, comedian James Acaster, and TikTok chef Meredith Hayden. That's what's on the boob tube tonight. New release Tuesday. Not too much coming out on June 17th. A movie called Broke, B-R-O-K-E, Broke, rated R. Starring Wyatt Russell, Dennis Quaid, and Tom Skerritt. It follows a guy named True Brandywine, a struggling rodeo rider who gets trapped in a blizzard and must confront his life choices while battling the elements for survival. Also on DVD today for new release Tuesday, Call the Midwife Season 14. That's it for new release Tuesday. Not a whole lot, as I mentioned. I watched yesterday, I binged real quick while I was working on the computer. It's called Gold and Greed on Netflix. The Hunt for Fenn's Fortune. You remember Forrest Fenn, the guy who hid a treasure box in the woods?
Yes.
Out in like the Colorado, Wyoming area?
Yes.
And then wrote a book and gave clues to where the fortune was.
And then a bunch of people spent a bunch of time looking for it, yes.
Over a decade. It took over a decade before someone finally tracked it down. And it's a 3-part docuseries about some of the people that were involved with it, along with a revelation as to who found it. Then the guy who bought it at auction, who then went on to hide it again. Well, at least some portion of that treasure. So, but yeah, it's called Gold and Greed, The Hunt for... Yeah, I mean, it was good because I only sort of knew the bones of the structure. You know what I mean? I knew that the guy hid the treasure. We had talked about it on the show all those years ago. And so I knew the guy had hid the treasure. I knew it was, a decade in the making. I knew that there was the book and the clues in the book and all that stuff. So there wasn't a lot in there that that was all that revealing, but it was still interesting.
What was the value of the treasure?
It was he said it. Well, it depends because he put a bunch of weird stuff in there. Like there was some gold and some nuggets and some coins and some jewelry. There was like rubies and so it was guesstimated or estimated that it was somewhere in the $2 to $5 million range. And there were people that were. I mean, there's these the focus of the docuseries, the 3 episodes. There's a family of rednecks from Florida. There's a dad and like 2 sons.
Who are looking for it, and they went after it. And these are people that really went after it. Because a lot of people went out there and walked around thinking they were going to just stumble upon it, But these guys really went deep dive on it. Then there's a woman who was like part of corporate America and then kind of retired or quit to be like sort of... saw her chance to just go...
Well, I think she was like kind of already living out there and like living on her own and sort of, going on hikes and stuff and befriended the guy who wrote the book and hid the treasure and still she had a hell of a time trying to find this thing. And then there was another guy who was also a focus of the series, and he was much more scientific and nerdy about the whole way that he did it. There was a lot of computer stuff going on with him. So, yeah, I won't give away any more of it. But Netflix, Gold and Greed, The Hunt for Fenn's Treasure. It's relatively new, and I just watched it yesterday. 3 episodes. Not too bad.
We watched Sinners on Saturday night that we rented.
Was I right?
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, we rented that on Saturday night for Father's Day. Like, we all chilled out and watched that.
Slow burn. Takes a while, but good character development in the first, 3 quarters of that movie before the violence starts.
The violence does start, yes. And then last night with the swollen face
Didn't want to do any laughing.
We watched Straw.
Oh, is that
That's
the two moms on...
Tyler Perry's new one.
On
Not
Netflix.
two moms, one mom, really.
One mom. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so we watched that.
It's a movie?
It is a movie.
Okay. And good?
Yeah, I mean, it kept us both
riveted
into what was going on for sure. And twist at the end that I didn't see coming. So.
Okay. Yeah. Naked Gun trailer came out yesterday. Did you see that?
No.
So they had a teaser trailer
Yes,
that dropped
saw
about,
that.
2 weeks ago. Liam Neeson taking over for Leslie Nielsen as Frank Drebin. I believe he plays his son in the movie. And, there's a new full trailer for the Naked Gun.
Who are you?
Drebin. Detective Frank Drebin.
And you, Frank, are the best of the best.
Says you served 20 years for man's laughter.
You mean manslaughter?
Must have been quite the joke. Nobody messes with Police Squad.
Pamela Anderson, Liam Neeson, Busta Rhymes in the trailer, several others. There's a funny part where he rips a guy's arms off after he's like fighting with him and hits him with his own arms. So there is a little bit of that slapstick, but it's not as slapsticky as the original one was.
Yeah.
Based on the trailer that I saw.
Okay.
We'll see. I think it comes out in August. The 1st of August, if I'm not mistaken. We've got Grant Bills joining us a bit later on. He's the host of the Wisco Sports Show. Also going to get to bad news with happy music. Lots of other stuff. RockMornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. Here's Breaking Benjamin.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at RockMornings.com.
Father's Day this past Sunday. And a very old father celebrated his first ever Father's Day.
Oh, is this the tortoise?
It is.
Man, this dude, he's a pimp. He's like 135 years old, isn't he? Or something like that. And he's a daddy for the first time.
Zoo Miami.
Yeah, this guy.
Big old Father's Day shout out to one of its residents this weekend. Goliath.
Yeah.
A 500-pound Galapagos tortoise.
Dude, he's 135 years old.
Became a first-time dad earlier this month at the age of 135. A spokesperson for the zoo called him living proof that where there's a will, there's a way.
I like turtles.
South Florida Zoo, oldest resident, celebrating his 135th birthday and his first Father's Day on Sunday. Became a father earlier this month. Goliath is my hero, and I am sure he will soon be an inspiration to many others, said the Zoo Miami spokesperson, Ron McGill. One egg out of a clutch of 8 that was laid on January 27th, successfully hatched on June 4th. Besides being Goliath's first offspring, it's also the first time one of the endangered reptiles is hatched at Zoo Miami.
Oh, I bet they were so excited at Zoo Miami.
Animals' numbers drastically reduced before the 20th century by human exploitation and the introduction of invasive species to the Galapagos Islands. Modern threats, of course, include climate change and habitat loss. And according to his official record, he hatched on the island of Santa Cruz in the Galapagos on June 15th between 1885 and 1890.
Isn't that nuts?
Goliath went to the Bronx Zoo
just so
first
nuts.
back in 1929, so he's been in a zoo for almost 100 years already. Then he moved to Zoo Miami in 81. He was bred with several different females during his time at Zoo Miami, but he has never sired an offspring. So in 44 years of being there, this guy's been banging tortoises, and he never got himself a lucky little.
Till now.
Never snuck one past the goalie until now. The new hatchling's mother, Sweet Pea, is estimated to be between 85 and 100 years old. Both parents doing well in their habitat. The hatchling appears to be healthy in a separate enclosure. Wild hatchlings not raised by the parents. But yeah, congratulations to Goliath, the giant tortoise down there at Zoo Miami. Another amazing animal story was this elephant. Did you see this elephant?
I don't think so.
You didn't?
I don't think so.
This is another zoo. This is in Guatemala City. And sometimes in these enclosures, if the animals can get along, they've got, it's not just the rhinos.
Yeah, sure. Oh,
so
yeah,
in this enclosure, it must have been multiple animals like an elephant and a gazelle. Well, the elephants can go in these puddles and these ponds and whatever and swim around and
spray the water out.
All that stuff and do elephant stuff with their trunks. The gazelle, unfortunately, can get into the water and then can't get out.
Stuck?
Very stuck. But the elephant came along with his big-ass trunk and helped the gazelle get out before it drowns.
Mira. Vamos. Sí, lo logró. Bravo. Un aplauso. Bravo.
Obviously, you hear the people there watching and videotaping the incidents. At La Aurora Zoo in Guatemala City, gazelle unable to escape a body of water in the middle of the enclosure. When the elephant noticed, it sprung into action. Quick-thinking elephant extending its trunk into the water to create a place for the gazelle to climb out. Unfortunately, the first attempt didn't work. So the determined elephant did not give up and was cheered on by the crowd, eventually wrapping its trunk around the gazelle's horn and then pulling it out of the water to safety. Yeah. And it's all caught on film. All these other gazelles are just kind of walking around like, I'm not going over there. Meanwhile, this other gazelle's just like, help me, bro, help me.
I don't know what you give an elephant for being a hero. I don't know what their treat is. It is a full watermelon or something like that to chow on.
Maybe several watermelons.
Good job.
Several watermelons.
Watching out for your friends, taking care of your friends.
Yeah, you got to share a enclosure with these guys. You might as well get along, right? And last but not least, did you see the principal in Texas who wrote the letters?
I don't think so.
443 letters to be exact.
To the graduating classes.
Each and every student
I don't know about this guy, but this has happened before. Rare, but yes.
Personalized, though.
Yes.
Personalized.
Yep.
Texas high school principal named Jason Mutterer. This is Mansfield Summit High School in Arlington, Texas, writing a short, personalized note for each of his 443 graduating seniors and also enclosed a $1 bill as an example of
thanks.
Random. Wow,
I know.
That's almost $500.
I know.
Just mowing the yard one day. What can I do to give them something and bring it into my speech?
And then he started speaking about personal handwritten letters, and 443 of them. I'm like, dang. I'm like, there's no way he just wrote 443 letters to every student here.
It came to me. I have a letter that I got from a teacher that was supposed to be like a 4th or 5th generation farmer, and my government teacher just said that you can go to college and you can succeed in college.
That's awesome. And you didn't just he just did that. He just whipped him out. No, he's been working on those letters for long time.
443 random acts of kindness
sweet.
Can start a ripple of positive, impactful change that could lead to feeding thousands of Mansfield ISD kids in the summer or providing thousands of Mansfield ISD students with Christmas presents. No act of kindness too small, so take the Summit love you developed at Summit High School to a world that desperately needs it. Pretty nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty nice.
That's awesome. My daughter got a book. One of her teachers, I believe for every graduating senior, he gets the same book and then writes in the inside of it. But that's one particular class and much smaller amount of graduating seniors than the entire school, obviously. But I thought that was really sweet. Like, showed up at her party and had this book and had written inside of it and said it's one of his favorites. And nice gesture. Teachers and principals and educators, man.
Yeah.
Oof. They can do so much.
Memphis May Fire and some Rockfest music from 3 Days Grace in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Tired of networking apps that focus on career growth and mentorship? Introducing Linked Up, the professional platform where business meets pleasure. Literally. Swipe right on colleagues, managers, or that one person from IT who actually responded to your Slack message. Because 9 to 5 shouldn't stop you from getting to second base before lunch. Linked Up, now with private office pods, built-in consent forms, and zero oversight from human resources.
Work hard. Hook up harder.
Linked Up is not affiliated with LinkedIn or Reality. Use protection and maybe some common sense.
In a new poll, 47% of Gen Zers said they are having more sex while working remotely due to more flexible schedules. Not to mention, they're at home. Technically, they didn't say they were getting any action while on the clock, but when it comes to things that they'd like to see added to the office, a.k.a. going back into the office in person.
Yeah.
38% of people in this poll said they'd like to have private spaces for hookups and solo play during the workday.
What, like a sex room at the office? Come on. That's
you want to
not
go in there
happening.
after Bob from accounting was in there doing what Bob does? You don't want
Separate
that.
area for that. That's called the car in the parking lot.
So they could, quote, take a break alone or with a coworker. Overall, 31% of Gen Zers worry that returning to the office would negatively impact their sex lives and disrupt their work-life balance. However, not all Gen Zers are feeling down about returning to the office. 42% said that being around others helps to improve their confidence.
I agree with that.
And 18%
Feels
said
like a
spending
team,
time
or
with
like a team.
colleagues boosts their moods. But yeah, 38% of people in this poll, Gen Zers.
Want a separate bathroom door that locks or something?
Well, this is like the tennis thing, the French Open, right? When I said, look, if you have a problem with these people banging in the bathroom, then make a bang room, right? So that if you do have to, you can go in there and leave the bathroom for people who have to use the bathroom.
No workplace is going to create that for you.
No.
You can barely get a room to breastfeed if you need to pump or anything. You have to put a
Mountain Dew
poster over your window.
The little tiny window in your office door, yeah. In other work-related news,
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
another new study found out that if you work more than 50 hours a week, your brain literally breaks.
How does it break?
Researchers scanning the brains of 110 healthcare workers, so these are specific people. However, I'm sure it could apply in some way, shape, or form to radio DJs.
Yeah, right.
Whatever we're called now. But yeah, they scanned the brains of 110 healthcare workers and split them into two categories: overworked and not overworked. They define overworked as 52 hours a week or more.
Okay.
They found that working that much can cause significant changes in parts of the brain associated with executive function and emotional regulation. It can mess with your decision-making skills, cause you to get emotional or fly off the handle a lot, also affect memory and attention span.
So a lot of things that seem important to those jobs getting done right.
Didn't look at long-term effects, unfortunately, because it's a recent study, but they suspect that being overworked for years on end is not great for your mental health. Duh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. Not surprised to hear that one. And last but not least, in work-related news.
Yes.
Work-related stuff. Another new poll. Taking a look at the top things that can immediately drain your social battery.
All right.
Things obviously at work. Things maybe out in public. But a survey of over 2,000 Americans, top 10 little things that can push us over the edge. Any sort of networking event.
All right. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow and Thursday, as a matter of fact. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association convention is in town.
When
WBA.
someone wants to show you something on their phone?
Oh, what? I
These
like
are
that.
Top 10 daily interactions that can make you sick of other people. A coworker overshares or gets too personal about something. Sorry. This one
doesn't do that for me.
This one is a no-brainer. Group video calls, especially if it's a work call. Group anything. Texts, videos.
Somebody showing me something on their phone, that's usually a good feeling.
Office gossip, apparently, is another daily interaction that can make you sick of other people.
Depends on the gossip.
Unsolicited advice, especially if it's from someone who doesn't technically do the same thing you do.
Yeah. I guess it depends how and what it's about, I guess.
Dealing with
How it's
customer
delivered.
service on the phone.
Yeah, okay. That
Too
should've
much
been number one.
Too much awkward small talk and then being interrupted or talked over.
Wonder what that feels like.
Top 10 daily interactions that can make you sick of other people. Number 1, being interrupted. I've got one good skill. It's the only one I'm sticking with, and it's interrupting people. That's all I got. I got nothing else going for me right
The
now.
meetings with the three of you and getting mansplained stuff is my favorite on Tuesdays. That's
Listen,
my favorite.
I don't mansplain things. Someone else does that.
You guys interrupting
I interrupt.
me.
I interrupt.
Interrupting and mansplaining on Tuesdays at 10 is my favorite.
I interrupt, but I don't mansplain. That is not a me thing. Somebody else carries the reins on that one.
Big heart emojis for that one. Fire and all that.
Work-related stuff. I can't believe people are still not going back to are people still working remotely?
Mm-hmm.
Man. It's been 5 years.
Less and less. I mean, it just depends. It might have just been, some offices actually closed to save money on,
the fees and all that.
the rent, and the overhead associated with that.
Sports coming up in just a couple of minutes, but first, 3 Days Grace, Rockfest music now. It's Animal I Have Become.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Rockfest just a month away. Those guys going to be there in Cadott. So will I. Looking forward to running into a whole lot of you at Rockfest in July. Brew Crew off last night. They are in Chicago tonight at 7:05. The first of 3 against the Cubs. NBA Finals last night. Game 5, Thunder over the Pacers, 120-109. They now have a 3-2 series lead. That series will shift to Indiana on Thursday night. Game 6, 7:30 on ABC. Oklahoma City Thunder at Indiana Pacers. Game 6 of the NHL Stanley Cup Final is tonight at 7 p.m. on TNT. Edmonton at Florida Panthers with a 3-2 series lead, so the Cup is in the house.
And here we go.
Could win it all tonight and repeat. A very interesting national anthem was performed at Dodger Stadium on Saturday. Rather than singing the traditional Star-Spangled Banner, Vanessa Hernandez, who performs under the name Neza, sang El Pendón Estrellado, the official Spanish version of the national anthem commissioned by the U.S. government under Franklin D. Roosevelt back in 1945. She apparently did so in defiance of the Dodgers' instructions, as she posted a TikTok following the performance showing an unidentified employee explicitly telling her the song should be in English.
Mm-hmm.
The employee said, quote, "We are going to do the song in English today, so I don't know if that wasn't translated or communicated." But she apparently did that in protest of the ICE raids and all that stuff out there. And
that was on Saturday at a Dodgers game, right?
I'm guessing she's never going to be performing at a Dodger game again.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And last but not least, we talked about this, I don't know, a couple of days ago, but they have made it official. They have made it official, finally, Gene.
But
Joey Chestnut is back.
Okay, all right. They said he's back for the Nathan's thing on the 4th of July, yeah.
The 16-time Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest champion announcing on social media yesterday that he would be, in fact, participating in the upcoming 2025 edition of the event after missing last year's contest because he had a partnership with a plant-based food company. In a post on his gram, Chestnut said, "Those relationships were never a conflict with my love for hot dogs." As recently as a couple of weeks ago, Chestnut didn't know if he'd be back, but said yesterday that he is grateful they were able to find a common ground, called the Nathan's Contest a cherished tradition.
Yeah, sure.
A celebration of American culture and a huge part of my life. Also looking to go for 80.
Dogs?
In 10 minutes.
80 dogs in 10 minutes.
That's 8 a minute, Gene, if you don't know the math.
Big payout, though. He gets a giant paycheck every time.
The mustard belt. He gets the mustard belt,
he's the reigning champion.
Yeah. And nobody's really even close to him. I mean,
how long do you think you can you competitively eat? Like, when do you age out of that? Is that a thing where you're like, oh yeah, like a quarterback? You're good till you're in your mid-40s.
Well, I think he's in his 40s now, right?
Yeah. How long can you competitively eat? Is there a problem where you gotta?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's not a road I want to travel down.
He's 41.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long that train's got going on the tracks there.
Me either, but it's been competing for a long time.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Some Evanescence coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Daughtry with the Dam. Ashley for the Arts, right?
Yes, Ashley for the Arts, 8th and 9th of August.
ZZ Top.
That would be cool, I think. Lots of stuff going on that weekend there. The lineup, Third Eye Blind and Arch Allies, Daughtry. You've got tickets on sale for the entire weekend. Your Hootie guy is there as well. Not Hootie,
Darius,
but
yeah.
Darius Ruck.
If it was Hootie, I'd go. but it's just dairy.
Brad Paisley, if you're into country music, Side Stage as well, which is kind of fun. And then there's a bunch of,
Hot.
other.
It's very hot in August.
AshleyForTheArts.com.
Very hot. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We got Grant Bills joining us here in just a bit, about a half hour from now, talking Wisco sports. Also going to get to bad news, happy music, daily check-ins. You can go to rockmornings.com for all of our contact info.
Also a lot less humid today, it looks like. Should be nice, right around 80, and not as thick as it's been. We got a chance of rain moving back in again tomorrow, and then up in the 90s for the weekend. But today looks pretty decent.
Ogre says, interacting with people makes me sick of people. Retirement in 31 days. So just general interaction with other people.
Well, he doesn't get the name Ogre for nothing, I guess.
Paul said, tell me about it. Can be in a conversation with someone about something in my lead. She just jumps in and talks over everyone. She has no patience whatsoever. I don't know who he's referring to, but somebody in his life.
I feel ya.
Interrupts him on a regular basis. It happens.
It does happen. Tuesdays are my favorite. Interrupting and mansplaining, that's the best.
Best of both worlds.
That's best of both worlds added together, most certainly.
Tag team, back again. Oop, there it is. Another comprehensive study. This one's kind of interesting. Of nearly 400,000 older folks.
Oh, that's a pretty big study. Okay, so what?
Receiving care in their homes.
Oh.
Has found that lonely older adults had an 18 to 23% lower risk of dying within a year compared to non-lonely seniors. Which is weird because your mom's 96 and she lives in a home.
Yes.
But she lived in her home for a long time.
Long time.
The study was conducted in Canada, Finland, and New Zealand.
Okay, and what did they talk to them about? Like how often you feel lonely when they're by themselves?
The participants in the study all had nurses visiting their homes to help them with daily activities like bathing, dressing, managing medications.
Home health care.
Loneliness, very common for people in this situation because the nurse is usually only there for, a couple hours?
Yeah, and it depends on how often they come. And
maybe
how
in the
often...
morning, maybe at night. My mom had something like that when she was wheelchair bound in her home, where they would come in the morning, get her ready, and get her cleaned up, get her in her chair for the day, and then come back at night and get her all set up and put to bed. But scientists tracking them for a year to see who died and when. That's kind of morbid. While controlling for dozens of mortality factors, including age, gender, health conditions like cancer, heart failure, cognitive function, pain levels, yada, yada, yada. Two things worth pointing out from this study. The researchers say there's a chance that social seniors with deteriorating health may be less likely to report feeling lonely because they're too ill to recognize or articulate their social needs. And not everyone faces immediate health risks due to loneliness. There could be a quality of life aspect of social isolation that led to lonelier people being more resilient than you'd expect. Which is kind of
the opposite, though, of what you anticipate.
Well, yeah, you think of the guy who retires, right? The guy who's in his 60s and retires and then goes home and sits on the couch and watches TV. Yeah. And next thing you know, he's got a bunch of health issues and he's dead way sooner than he probably should have been. And then you think of the guy who's 65, 70, whatever, retires and goes and gets a part-time job or goes golfing a lot or does,
joins
things.
Joins his thing,
exactly.
Donates his time, whatever, is around other people.
And you think of that guy as being maybe more spry and lively and maybe having a longer, more active life as opposed to the guy who shuts it down. And that's not to say which one's right or wrong. It's personal choice, obviously. But, yeah, there's certainly that, norm, if you will.
Thought process, but the saying, the lonely can be okay, too. Less social interaction may not be necessarily a negative impact on their health.
Correct.
Interesting.
Speaking of mom, how's she doing?
Going on Saturday to see her. Very excited about that. She went out on Father's Day. They took her for a drive, and she went to the house.
Oh. Is it sold?
Oh, yeah. And got to meet the guy who had bought it. I guess his wife was in the house. She didn't come out, but met the guy, and he loves living there. And she got to see the flowers up on the hill and, just stuff that's emotional. Yeah. So she did good. But, they took her to see it on Sunday and meet the new people that live there. So we'll see. She said it depends. Every day is different. Sometimes she feels like going for a drive. Sometimes she doesn't. And so I'm hoping she feels like going for a drive. And I'm hoping we could get some food out at a drive-in or something where they bring it to the car. But It's also going to be in the mid-90s on Sunday, and taking her out in that kind of heat's not really.
Nobody wants to go out in that heat. I don't want to go out in that heat. Neither does your mom.
Nope.
Ain't nobody going out in that heat. Yeah. Gross. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to the Offspring in a bit. They're going to be on late night TV. What was it? Kimmel, I believe.
That should be interesting.
Also, our buddy Grant Bill is going to join us.
Love that guy.
From the Wisco Sports Show. We'll talk to him at about 8:15. Right now, it's Nickelback.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings on Tuesdays at about 8:15. We're joined by the one and only Grant Bills, the host of the Wisco Sports Show. You can hear him weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 p.m. on stations across the state, including WKTY in La Crosse and Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. Grant Bills, how are you, sir?
I'm excellent, Simpson, and thank you, as always, for promoting my show with that specificity. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
How was your Father's Day? Did you get your dad anything cool, like a new stick or a bottle of Old Spice or something really unique?
I guess I dropped the ball on getting a gift. I was home all weekend. We had a very nice day on Sunday. We went to church and we had lunch, and it was very nice. But no, I feel bad. I didn't get a gift. I should have got a card.
Your time was a gift, I think, right? You were there the whole weekend.
But I can't say that. You can say that. I can't be like, my presence was a present.
Well, yeah, you can't be like, I hope you enjoyed my time, Dad. That's your Father's Day present.
Yeah, it was me. No. Just you and me being around each other. That was it. That's how I gift you my love.
I know it certainly felt like a present for me. That's a gift that I will cherish for a long time. I hope he feels the same way. But I feel bad. I didn't get him anything.
You said you went to a supper club, but you didn't do the salad bar. I'm kind of disappointed.
Did you get fish? Did you get prime rib? What'd you have?
No. See, here's the problem. It was a Friday night. I probably would have got fish, but I got lunch with my brother earlier in the day on the way home because he's in Madison, so I stopped because I took Friday off. And I had fish on Friday afternoon because they had like a lunch fish special. And at that time, I'm like, oh, great. Now my plan for tonight's all thrown out of whack. So I got some pasta. I did not do the salad bar, the soup, because I wanted to save space for an ice cream drink for dessert. As I get older, I less and less interest in appetizers, more and more interest in dessert. I've shifted my focus. Yeah,
I understand. I get it.
Well, that's kind of a bummer because I used to do Well, I love to hear the different items that are on salad bars because I probably will never make it to this supper club.
What's it called?
Jake's.
Jake's?
It's in Menominee, about a half hour west of Eau Claire.
Okay, Jake's in Menominee, and I don't know if I'll ever make it to Jake's, but it sounds like a delightful supper club, but I'm always interested in hearing about the pasta salads and the side salads that are there because those are usually unique.
I could be wrong. I don't go there. I grew up just a mile or two from there, so we used to go there a lot more. I'm not sure that they have a salad bar. I think they bring you the house salad on the chilled plate. Okay. I don't think they have the bar like they do at Sullivan's or at Freight House. I could be wrong, but I'm 90% sure they actually don't have a salad bar physically. They just bring you the dinner set, which is delicious. I love it on the cold plate. That's also excellent, but I don't think they have the bar.
All right. Grant Bills.
Sorry, Simpson.
No, that's okay. Hey, you're very disappointing to me today. That's all right. Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show. Again, heard weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on stations across the state, including WKTY in La Crosse and Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. Let's talk sports talk. Brew Crew. Well, I mean, they got the guy, the howitzer, on the mound the other day, and he was throwing straight gas, but then he hurt himself. Where's he at?
So I think he starts. Is he supposed to start tonight? I think he's tonight against the Cardinals, the Cubs. So they had an off day yesterday, and now this is probably their biggest series in a month. I was a little disappointed by last week because it was a 10-game homestand coming off of their best stretch of baseball of the year after a bye day. They had last Thursday off, and then they started a new, or maybe this was 2 weeks ago, but coming into this previous homestand, 10 games, and they lost 4 of the first 6. Now, they won 3 of the last 4, so they split it to go 500. I hoped for a little bit better, but they finished strong against the Cardinals, which I guess I'd prefer that. That's a division rival. And now we see if they can carry that momentum into this Cubs series. The Cubs have been winning. They have not been hitting the ball like they were early in the season. So maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit of an in for the Brewers with how well they've been pitching. And Mizorowski, their new 6'7" kid who can throw 102 miles an hour, he'd be a big part of that, obviously.
No lingering effects from whatever ailed him when they took him off the bump in his debut?
Not that I've heard of. Maybe, I assume no. If we haven't heard about it yet, I assume no, because he's set to start and we haven't heard anything. So it's not like they're going to come out before the game and be like, oh, by the way, he broke his leg and they're going to pitch someone else tonight. Yeah. We would have heard about that at this point.
Maybe getting used to the mounds. Is it different than it is where he was playing? I mean, obviously, I'm sure the dimensions are different, but the groove could be different, the rubber could be different. I mean, what's the deal there? Is he just having trouble figuring it out, or was it just starstruck by all the lights?
They said it was quad cramping. So based on what they said, he was struggling a little bit with it before he went out for that final inning, so maybe he felt a little weak. I think there's definitely something to the starstruck aspect. I don't think it was being unfamiliar at the mound. I just think as you make your major league debut, especially going into the 4th, 5th, 6th innings, not allowing any hits, like imagine the adrenaline, like you have to feel like you're floating, right? Like you're occupying a different space. So that I believe to be real, probably combined with the fatigue that he was already feeling in the dugout.
What's your reaction to the Rafael Devers trade yesterday? Or
it's
Sunday,
great theater.
Sunday.
It's amazing theater. He's been amazing theater since spring training when they signed Bregman. I think it's a very NFL trade. I talk about this on my show a lot, is that the NFL is so different from Major League Baseball and the NBA. Desmond Bain just went for 4 first-round picks. Mikal Bridges went for 5 first-round picks. If you even have a touch of star in the NBA, a team will give up the world for you. And for the most part, I think that's true in Major League Baseball. It's market dependent. Typically at the trade deadline or maybe at the winter meetings that happens. But in the NFL, it's like if you make a lot of money, if you're a little bit of a malcontent, if you're a little injury prone, like you're getting nothing. And essentially that's what the Red Sox got for Rafi Devers. I know they got a last year's first round pick and they got some pitchers, but mostly it's like, we'll take the contract. And that's the favor we're doing for you, which is the type of deal that you normally only see in football. So it's very interesting from that standpoint, too.
Yeah, and to see it happen so far away from the trade deadline where you think things would heat up and a team that's in contention would be looking for a big bat and you could get a boatload for them in exchange as opposed to what they got. It's just kind of surprising it happened this quickly. But they obviously, the owner flew down to Kansas City, and there was obviously a lot of back and forth there, so they wanted him gone. And with him and his malcontent attitude about playing, the field now, it was no surprise to see him get gone.
What a pill. And he makes a lot of money for a DH, right? So I assume he's going to play the field a little bit in San Francisco, or at least contribute on something of a higher level than a DH. Boston sports fans are having a real week, Simpson, because your boy Brad Marchand is now down in Florida, and he might just win the Conn Smythe because he's powering the Panthers in these close games. How are you holding up through all of this?
Oh, I'm fine. I don't. I've got a lot of other stuff going on in my life right now, to be perfectly honest with you. It's keeping me a little bit occupied. So, yeah, I've got
it's fine.
Really, honestly, the whole Brad.
Sports.
But I honestly, I love a guy like Brad. I've loved Brad Marchand. I don't care if he's on the Panthers now. I'm not one of those guys that's like, I hate him because he went to a different team. He's a rat. I love the rats in hockey. They're great. They get in the corners. They do all the dirty work. They get, they're an emotional guy. They're, the guy that maybe didn't have all the talent, didn't have all the speed, didn't have all the size, but worked harder than everybody else, the Julian Edelmans of the world, and they get out there and they do what they do and they affect the game. And he's showing that even at 37, he's still got it and going to get himself a big-ass contract because of that. And the Bruins look like idiots because they traded his ass away, and it just goes to show how bad things were in that locker room in Boston.
I don't know. That team wasn't any good, and they fired their coach, and they're kind of rebuilding. Like, I don't know. They're going to get a first-round pick for him. That seems pretty good, right? Like, it would be like in baseball. You trade away a guy who can go help another team, and he's not helping you right now. I don't know. I get it looks bad because it's for a rival, but like from a team building perspective, I shouldn't really care about that. Simpson, you don't strike me as one, like you said, to care about that. I don't know. What were they supposed to do? Re-sign him for a bunch of money? They're an old team. They're not good enough.
Well,
I don't really know what the Bruins were supposed to do differently.
I think the thought was they would get rid of Marchand, put him on a team that had a chance to win, and then because he's got a legacy in Boston and the family and all the years spent there, that they would bring him back next year. But he's playing so well that the Bruins are not going to be able to afford him, and he probably doesn't want to have anything to do with Boston at this point. He's made a few comments since he went down to Florida that say so much.
We'll move on. Move on. Well, we'll ship you off and get some for you, and then we'll bring you back. I don't know. That's a half measure to me. Like, you got to do a clean break and start rebuilding your hockey team. And Simpson, as someone without a hockey team of my own, I've kind of adopted your Bruins, so I have a little skin in the game now. I'm fine with the way they're doing this. Don't re-sign him. He's 37. That wouldn't make any sense.
They're not going to. He wants. Trust me. He wants nothing to do with going back up north.
Good.
That's a
good
done deal. But do you think the Panthers win it tonight? The Cup's in the house.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
It feels like it. which is kind of lame. Nothing against the Panthers, because I think they're deserving and they're great. And look, I'm far from a hockey expert, but it seems that we've seen both teams' strengths show out in this series. Like the Panthers are rats and they're grimy and they're going to drag you down into the mud and the muck and they're going to beat you up. And the Oilers are they can do a little bit of that. I'm not saying that they're soft or anything, although some hockey fans might tell you that. I don't know. But they're supposed to have this offensive firepower, right? McDavid and Draisaitl. And McDavid's been a little quiet in that offense. I feel like should have had more moments than they've had in this series. So I would love to see some fireworks from Edmonton tonight. If we haven't seen it yet, I don't know why I should expect game 6 or 7 to go any differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're at home. Marchand's playing like a madman. The cup's in the house. I don't see it happening for Edmonton. I just don't.
Bad look for Connor McDavid? No goals?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Look, you can't be one of the best players in the NHL and lay a fart in the playoffs. It's certainly going to be a lot of questions about him and what happens. I mean, you never know. These guys are always dealing with something, especially in the NHL, that you never hear about. You got guys that are out there with broken arms and broken feet and broken legs and broken jaws, and you never know. So it could be an injury, some kind of upper body type thing. Who knows? But
sure.
You won't find out till after. And then you hear like, oh, yeah, he had his pectoral sewn back onto his...
It was just actually he was headless
broken
out
neck,
there.
yeah. Over to the NBA with Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show. What are you thinking for the NBA Finals? We've now got a leader, the Thunder, taking care of the Pacers last night, 120-109. Are you in on the Thunder, or do you think the Pacers make a comeback with Halliburton injured?
I've been skeptical on the Thunder. Last night, I think a switch for me really clicked. Like, if Jalen Williams is that guy and Shea is that guy, and I thought Chet mostly stunk last night. Chet Holmgren, who's from the Twin Cities, once upon a time played against our Lacrosse Central Riverhawks, Johnny Davis, Terrence Thompson, and Jordan Davis, and that crew at Mitchell Hall, one of the best basketball games I've ever seen. He wasn't even good last night. He was turning the ball over and falling over and, missing shots. He couldn't do anything, but just watching Shea and Jalen Williams and then some of the role players hit threes. That was one of the better basketball games last night that I've watched in a while. I'm glad that I sat through the middle, because normally I'll watch the beginning and then maybe come back for the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. I'm glad I didn't do that. The Thunder look legit. And if the Pacers had been able to hang on and win Friday night in Game 4 to go up 3-1, I think they would have won the series. But I think most people, when it tied 2-2, going back to Oklahoma City, 2 of the final 3 are in their building, I feel like most people then assume the Thunder to have the advantage, and I think last night we saw that play out. So it seems to me that the Thunder are going to win, but I think the Pacers have mostly been really disrespected and been way more of an afterthought in this series and in this postseason recently than they should have been.
Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show, weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on stations all across the states, including WKTY in La Crosse and Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. Always a pleasure, sir. Have a great rest of your day.
No, the pleasure is mine. Nice to talk to you both. Have a good one.
Take care.
Got a text from #NotJeff.
Was it about his ice cream drink?
Jake's is about 4 miles from my cabin. Been there many, many times. He's correct. No salad bar. Really, really good food. Outdoor band area that has bands every weekend all summer. Super fun place.
Jake's, and this was a little ways out of Menominee,
yeah.
Sounds like. And it was a supper club, and he goes there often, frequent when he was growing up, and they went for Father's Day weekend.
Nice.
Sounds good. Delicious.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Bad News Happy Music is coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some #Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Couple in Tennessee arrested over the weekend for allegedly shooting a woman in the back of her head at a restaurant after they were reportedly booted from the establishment for acting irate. Jose Montoya and his wife, Judith Ramirez, both taken into custody on Sunday, charged with 1 count each of attempted first-degree murder.
She's going to live, the lady?
Employing a firearm in the commission of a felony and vandalism between $10,000 and $60,000. Officers with the Memphis Police Department responding to reports of an aggravated assault at the restaurant. It was the Tequila Town Bar. Speaking of tequila, we got more on that a bit later on.
All right, more tequila? Okay.
And more tequila stuff. Upon arrival, first responders spoke with a male who had been working security at the time of the alleged incident. Said he was working late Saturday evening, and the bar's owner told Montoya he was acting irate inside his establishment. Security guard approached him, said he needed to calm down. Montoya allegedly became aggressive towards the guard, who then escorted him outside of the establishment along with his wife, later identified as Ramirez. During the escort out of the establishment, Montoya said, "Y'all done effed up now."
Oh, boy.
Judith advised that she opened the door. Montoya retrieved a firearm from inside the vehicle. Security guard advised that he observed Jose go to his vehicle, retrieve a firearm, begin firing shots at him. The security guard returned fire in self-defense. During the shooting, Montoya reloaded his firearm multiple times and continued.
This is just some sort of crazy street shootout
Wild
between
West.
this. Yeah.
The couple fled in a gray 2025 Kia SUV with Tennessee plates. Staff at the bar also informed police that a female patron had been shot in the back of the head during the confrontation, transported to a local hospital in critical condition.
I'm shot in the head here, over here.
In addition to the victim being injured, multiple cars in the area were struck by bullets that were fired by Montoya. Investigators able to locate the couple after spotting their car in the driveway of a residence. The police searching the vehicle recovered multiple spent bullet casings. Yeah, this guy, obviously, him and his wife in big trouble. Not sure about the condition of the woman who got shot in the head. Back to the tequila.
Yeah.
This is in Madison, Wisconsin. An apartment in Madison apparently its oven was caused to blow open when the person living or staying in the apartment used tequila to marinate a home-cooked turkey on Sunday evening. What do you marinate a turkey in, Gene?
Well, I don't know. One time we went to the grocery store and there was this old lady behind us and she had nothing but pork butts and vodka. Big, giant bottles of cheap vodka and lots of pork butts.
Smoker and drinker?
So we were just like, yeah. So what's this? It's pork and vodka? What's this recipe we're dealing with? So this is turkey and tequila.
According to the Madison Police and Fire Department, the caller to 911 said they were cooking a turkey in the oven for 8 minutes when the oven door blew open. Firefighters arrived at the apartment checking the oven. A thermal imaging camera was used, and firefighters opened it, which had blue flames that came shooting out. Oven was removed from the apartment. Occupant said that he used this recipe before and never had any issues. Although the occupant had used his recipe before with no issues, firefighters presume the accumulated vapors from the alcohol were not being vented properly from the oven and when exposed to oxygen would ignite.
Somebody's just cooking a full turkey on a random-ass Sunday afternoon.
For only 8 minutes before the door opens up.
Sort of props.
Yeah.
Just some random Sunday in June cooking a whole turkey.
Soaked in tequila.
Father's Day. It's probably a family recipe.
It's passed down
from generation. Yes.
Yeah. This is my grandmother's.
Tequila bird.
Yeah. Soak it in the bathtub. Ugh. Wouldn't want to have that turkey. Don't get me wrong. Rum ham, 2 thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Tequila turkey, 2
Pork
thumbs down.
Pork vodka, but apparently.
Maybe with some other, spices and herbs. Maybe.
I don't know.
What about that vodka?
Vodka and pork butt.
During the first 5 months of 2025, a 72-year-old hashtag Florida man has placed how many calls to 911?
In the first 5 months? Well, let's just go with a lot. Let's go with 5,500. More than that.
Lower.
Okay, lower. Okay.
But still a lot.
A lot for 911.
3,400 calls to 911 in the first 5 months.
And are these for I've fallen and I need help getting up kind of thing?
Pushing his 5-year total to 16,000 calls to the police just to 911 alone.
Are they for him medically? Are they for is he paranoid.
Police last week responding to a 911 call claiming that someone was shooting an AR-15 rifle in the roadway, end quote. Outside a St. Petersburg residence, when officers arrived, they discovered a family barbecue with small children at play. Numerous neighbors advising that such an event did not occur in response to the shooting of the AR-15 and all that. The person that made the call, Samuel Lee Thomas, lives across the street from where the shooting reportedly happened. Police communication records showed that Thomas this year dialed police 647 times to make complaints about the neighboring home. Imagine living next to this lunatic.
Oof.
He has made allegations about narcotic sales, firearm usage, disorderly conduct, and suspicious activity. So anything that he deems out of the ordinary, he's getting on that phone and he's calling 911 right away. A woman who lives at the targeted property told cops that the 911 calls have resulted in hundreds of interactions with the police and that Thomas frequently stops in front of their residence to yell obscenities at her and her family.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. According to police records, Samuel made 3,400 calls to 911 this year alone, 16,000 calls in the last 5 years. Unclear what all the complaining was about. Unclear why police haven't cut him off from calling,
No
if that's
kidding.
even possible. Just take his name out of the number out of the books.
Well, I don't know if it's possible, but do you really respond with every single time to
Have to, I
chuck
guess,
at his
right?
problems?
Police say there was they arrested him for stalking and filing a false report, also charged with resisting arrest after he tussled with the officers when they tried to handcuff him. No evidence of any mental health issues, which is kind of surprising. He just loves to call 911 at the drop of a dime.
Only on the one neighbors, though, it sounds like.
Has a rap sheet of his own, includes multiple battery convictions, DUI, pot possession, disorderly intoxication, passing bad checks, violating probation, and failure to return rented merchandise. So this guy's
he's not a stand-up citizen himself,
No.
is he?
Nope. His,
Hi, Pot.
His mugshot's
This is
pretty
the
good,
kettle.
too. It's him.
Looking.
Really? Yeah.
Or is he seeing things that aren't even there? I mean, maybe that's
They
part
say
of it.
no mental health.
Right.
I mean, last but not least, bad news, happy music. Another hashtag Florida story. Apparently, it's illegal to feed the alligators in Florida. I suppose they don't want them to learn, like bears. You know, they don't want them to start coming
Sure.
around.
They're trusting people to give them food, and so they're coming closer.
Also, it's illegal to harass the alligators, right? If you
like,
see
you're
one,
so
I think it's more like
old-looking.
poking them with a stick or kicking them or trying to do things to them. You can't buy, sell, possess, transport, or import any American alligator or their eggs without a permit. But petting alligators, no real law in the book for that one. A resident of Tampa named Jasmine walking her dog on June 12th. She saw a gator in front of her complex.
So her first instinct was to pet it?
No, she decided to take out her phone and capture the video of the woman that was petting it. So Jasmine is walking around with her dog in her apartment complex.
Comes across someone else.
Sees the gator, and there's a woman there petting the gator. The gator had been living in the complex's retention pond for a couple of months. The woman, not bitten, although in the very short video, the reptile does open its mouth at her a couple of times.
Damn alligator bit my hand off.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Baby one, maybe?
No, it's...
No, I mean, I would hold,
you get
the
a
little baby
little
ones,
chomp.
those are cute.
Little chomp, but this is a full-grown alligator gator. Gator.
Gator.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, it's real, and it's was it sunning itself and it was just laying there? I don't
They
know.
say that alligator mating season, which occurs in spring and summer, leads to increased activity and potential human encounters. While alligator attacks are rare, Floridians should exercise caution near water, especially during
I would
dusk
imagine.
and dawn. Yeah.
I would always
But this lady's out
execute
there
caution in water in Florida.
Just stroking the gator. Stroking it. Bad news with happy music.
I think we're going to Florida. We
Instead
finally
of-
decided
instead of New
on
England?
decided to vacation, and I'm very clear about the Gators. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my seeing them from like far away. Great. If there's a There's a swimming hole, like, I don't know, that's apparently like a deer refuge that we were looking at or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but don't go there because there could be gators swimming in it. Can't I just assume that about all waters in Florida? That there could be gators swimming in it?
You should.
Yeah, no thanks.
Bad news, happy music on Rock Mornings, our daily check-ins after AC/DC.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello?
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is the website for all of our contact info, listening to the show live, checking out the daily podcast, all that stuff. Heather sent in an email. Said, good morning, my boys. Love the movie The Great Outdoors. The only problem is my 5-year-old is running around and saying lips and a-holes. Oh, well, have a great day.
Was it in 1988 that it came out?
It was 89, maybe.
Great Outdoors.
But yeah.
Very funny.
You know
One of
what
your
those things are
favorites,
made
too.
of. Oh, yeah. Certainly. Yeah. Classic. Can't go wrong. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate the email. Good to hear from you. T-Stat wanted to hear some Blink-182. There was a little bit there. I just didn't have time. Sorry, T-Stat. Talking about things, daily interactions that annoy us about other people. Paul said, tell me about it. Could be in a conversation with someone about something, and my lead, she just jumps in and talks over everyone. She has no patience whatsoever. I don't know who Paul's referring to, but it sounds personal.
You think?
He's got a real chip on his shoulder about that one.
He hates getting interrupted by her is what the deal is, or him, or whatever. It's just too much.
Ogre texting in saying, interacting with people makes me sick of people. Retirement in 31 days.
I get it. I overheard a conversation yesterday when I was at a place of employment while I was spending some time there. And I was like, man, if I had to be listening to all this, it would be making me crazy. It'd be making me nuts. I was sick of listening it was only 20 minutes. So I'm glad that wasn't my place of work.
Also got a text from #NotJeff after we talked to Grant Bills about his supper club. Said, Jake's is about 4 miles from my cabin. Been there many, many times. He's correct. No salad bar. Really, really good food. Outdoor band area that has bands every weekend, all summer. Super fun place. Said the bands can be cheesy. Well, they're bar bands. That's kind of what they are.
A supper club in Wisconsin on a weekend night.
But the outdoor tiki bar on the water, inside is a traditional dark supper club vibe. Food is awesome. Have to get you guys up there with us sometime. We can jet ski and hang out all day and then jet ski back. So they jet ski from the cabin to the supper club and then jet ski back.
That
Thank you,
sounds
Jeff.
terrible.
Yeah,
That's not the life I want to live, Jeff. On my cabin with a jet ski and a supper club.
Grant must have been listening still after we disconnected with him. Said that he loved hearing the text from Jeff. Said Jake was my grandpa. So it's family restaurant. My mom and sisters worked there, and then later my aunt and uncle ran it. Nothing like it in the summer when the boats are pulling up and the bands are playing, like if Moxie's had a fancy supper club attached.
Aww.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone for the correspondence. Good to hear from you guys. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.